Good day, Jamaica. I hope all of you watching us are safe, dry, and in good spirits. For most of this year's hurricane season, Jamaica has been spared any devastating weather systems. But here we are. The weather experts say it all the time, and Tropical Storm Melissa has proved their urgings true. Always be prepared. Disaster can strike at any time. Hopefully, Tropical Storm Melissa won't prove to be very disastrous, but we can never be too prepared, and our best defense is information. That's why the JIS is here for you. Welcome to this edition of Jamaica Magazine. There's a lot to unpack, so please stick around.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, October 24, 2025. The tropical storm warning and the hurricane watch continue for Jamaica, while Tropical Storm Melissa remains nearly stationary to the southeast over the Caribbean Sea. Melissa is projected to become a hurricane by Saturday and a major hurricane, Category 3 or higher, by Sunday. The center of the storm is expected to begin drifting westward on Saturday and continue through Monday, bringing it just south of Jamaica early next week. 8 to 14 inches of rainfall is forecast for eastern parishes through the weekend, causing widespread flooding and landslides. This would gradually spread westward across the country next week. As the tropical storm moves closer to the island, expect strong gusty winds reaching tropical storm force to initially affect eastern parishes later today and continuing into the weekend across the island. Hurricane force winds are also possible from as early as Saturday. While marine areas will see quick deterioration today, small craft operators including fishers from the Keys and Banks are advised to remain in safe harbor until all warning messages have been lifted and wind and sea conditions have returned to normal. All public hospitals across the island have entered emergency mode as the health system prepares for the impact of Tropical Storm Melissa. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton reports that while hospitals will remain open, outpatient and elective surgeries will be suspended for the time being to focus on emergencies.
Visitations will be limited, and family members are asked to pick up their relatives who have been admitted for non-critical reasons, and the respective hospitals will reach out to those family members. We have to reserve bed space just in case we need them for emergencies.
Dr. Tufton says 116 priority facilities have been identified, comprising 25 hospitals and 91 Type 3 to 5 health centers. 702 personnel are on standby across parishes for emergency response activation. The minister reveals that 75% of the facilities have functional backup generators with fuel reserves capable of sustaining power for approximately 72 hours post-disaster, and they have sufficient medical gas and supplies to last for the same period.
Strategic stockpiles of medications and medical consumables have been verified and are maintained at a minimum 72-hour level.
87% of the priority facilities are also reporting fully functional transportation for emergency response and patient support. Dr. Tufton says there are approximately 5,000 beds, 20 operating theater units, and 19 emergency rooms available across the public system, with plans for the rapid redeployment of mobile response teams if required.
And there's one functioning field hospital which is currently being deployed at the Maypen Hospital.
And the Health Ministry's 24-hour Emergency Operations Center is now fully activated to keep in touch with all the collaborative agencies and to man the public health sector's response. Meanwhile, residents are being reminded to ensure they have an adequate supply of prescribed medication on hand. Health Promotion and Education Officer at the Westmoreland Health Department, Gerald Miller, is urging persons with chronic illnesses such as diabetes, hypertension, and asthma to refill prescriptions and secure medications before the storm's arrival. Pregnant women who are within 1 month of their due date are encouraged to relocate nearer to medical facilities as a precautionary measure ahead of the storm. The health promotion officer is also generally cautioning residents to avoid walking through puddles or floodwaters after the storm, as this could expose them to leptospirosis, a disease spread through contact with water contaminated by animal urine. And Mr. Miller is reminding residents that mental health care is equally important during the storm, encouraging persons to try and engage in activities that can help relax their minds. The National Water Commission, NWC, says it has enacted measures to ensure that water is supplied before, during, and after the passage of Tropical Storm Melissa. Acting President Kevin Carr says all existing water restrictions have been lifted to allow customers to store water. He says all hurricane response team members have been briefed and placed on high alert.
Managers have met with their parish disaster committees to continue local actions. Every equipment, including water trucks and backhoes, has been prepared or placed on standby in regions where contractors' support may be required. Private providers of standby generators have also been engaged in case additional capacity is required.
In St. Thomas, pipelines located in landslide-prone areas and across rivers have been temporarily removed to prevent them from being washed away during heavy rainfall.
Open trenches at work sites are currently being reinstated ahead of the bad weather and will be revisited for inspection and repair immediately after the passing. Storage levels are being filled and secured to support post-storm recovery. Teams are on standby to close off intakes such as yalas to prevent silting and blockages.
He adds that private water truckers have been engaged to ensure hospitals and other essential facilities have access to water after the storm. And working groups have been established with key partners like the Jamaica Public Service Company, National Works Agency, and the municipal corporations to ensure access and service continuity after the passage of the storm. Minister of Local Government and Community Development Desmond McKenzie says the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, had intensified garbage collection efforts to address backlogs affecting several communities island-wide. Minister McKenzie, who spoke via Zoom during a special press briefing on Wednesday, outlined preparations being undertaken by the authority.
The Solid Waste Authority over the last week and a half have been working extensively, especially over the last couple of days. We have been doing extra hours, even in some communities, working 24 hours a day around the clock. And as I speak, there's a special operation that is being undertaken island-wide, and there are some specific areas that have been identified for attention.
The minister noted that consistent heavy rainfall had made waste collection more difficult in some areas.
The organization is working, but I must admit that the volume of garbage that we have, and with the consistent rainfalls that we are having, and the fact that most of our landfills, the roads are not fully paved, make the exercise a little bit tedious. But over the last couple of days, we have seen some increased activities.
Minister McKenzie reiterated that a targeted waste removal operation was underway in select areas across the island to address accumulated garbage. The country's oil refinery Petrojam is assuring that all measures have been put in place to best manage the events of the coming days. Acting General Manager Colin Barnett says Petrojam has over 2 weeks' supply of fuel in stock and 10 days' supply of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, in storage. As Jamaica's primary storage facility for strategic reserves, valued at over $200 million or 162 billion Jamaican dollars, he says the strength of its energy supply resiliency remains intact. Mr. Barnett adds that Petrojam's teams have stepped up efforts to ensure timely fuel delivery from their Kingston and Montego Bay loading racks to establish supplies through the vast island-wide logistics chain. He says Petrojam is ready to activate further contingency measures should the need arise. And as the various state entities work to get the country ready for dealing with whatever tropical storm Melissa brings, Minister with responsibility for works, Robert Morgan, is assuring that the government has a strong disaster management template in place.
The government really did significant work before, during, and after burial to ensure that the country was able to recover stronger.
Mr. Morgan says government, primarily through the National Works Agency, has executed some significant projects over the last few years, which are assisting in the management of disasters.
For example, in the St. Thomas area, the South Coast Highway Improvement Project has resulted in a significant assistance to the population there as it relates to drainage. Where there were not drains before, there's significant infrastructure that has been put in to assist with drainage. Also, on the other side of the island, which is in St. James, the perimeter road is also a significant work has been done with drainage.
The minister also points out that roads completed under the SPARK program were designed with improved drainage to ensure that less damage is done to communities. For the current system, several contractors across the island have been engaged to stockpile critical materials that will be essential in the aftermath of the storm. And finally, Jamaica's two main telecommunications providers, Flow and Digicel, have activated their emergency response centers in preparation for the storm. Telecommunications Minister Darrell Vaz, in a special briefing yesterday, shared that Flow's generators had been refueled and serviced, and field teams had been mobilized.
Flow Jamaica has fully activated its crisis management system with support from local and regional teams. Power resilience has been strengthened, with over 61% of mobile sites now having backed up power, and 143 new generators installed island-wide. Company's Emergency Operations Center is active, and the public can reach the center for emergencies at 876-929-9834. I'll repeat that, 876-929-9834 and 876-929-9837.
The minister also reported that Digicel had formed a dedicated disaster response core team to ensure continuous operations during the storm.
All network sites, towers, and facilities have been structurally inspected, and generators confirmed to be up and running condition. Essential spare parts are secured locally and overseas, and mobile cell sites are ready for rapid deployment to restore service.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Next part I show them cut it.
Talking about that, listen to this. A pen sends a message. Disaster do happens. Be prepared. The municipal corporation reminds us of hurricane, earthquake, flooding, you name it, and preparedness.
Mommy, we really have to take this thing seriously.
Mommy, where's the emergency shelters?
Samir.
Primary school, churches, community centers. Know your nearest emergency shelter. Protect your family during any natural disaster. Be prepared. Visit the ODPEM website at odpem.org.jm to find the shelter listing for your parish. Know your emergency shelters.
As soon as the weather experts notified that Tropical Storm Melissa was on a path to impact Jamaica, the various government ministries and agencies have been activated, planning and putting necessary arrangements in place to help the country navigate the system. High priority has been placed on a constant stream of information with the public.
It is indeed time not to panic. It is in time to plan. Planning has indeed been underway since Hurricane Beryl last year. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Andrew Holness and indeed Minister Desmond McKenzie, all of our disaster risk management systems are indeed in place, and we've been working seamlessly together with him through the Met Service. So the first thing I'd like to highlight and bring to the country's attention is that, yes, we are aware and have taken recommendations and indeed some fair criticism that we have some work to do on the communication protocols from Met Service. You will see significant improvement in communication of exactly what is happening, as we know there's a fair bit of anxiety within the society. But in that communication, we are encouraging that members of the public stick to official sources. The official sources will be the Met Services website and indeed social media accounts, the ODPEM website and social media accounts, the Office of the Prime Minister website and social media accounts, Ministry of Education, Youth, JIS, Ministry of Water, doesn't quite have a website yet, but certainly we have social media accounts. But the broader point is that we're encouraging all members of the public, regardless of what your concern is, whether it's just general anxiety or it is helping you to plan for your business, helping you to plan for your households, helping you to plan for your communities, stick to the official sources of information. We want to again remind citizens that we have brought on all of our early warning systems that do help to feed information to relevant agencies through WRA, monitoring our riverbeds, and indeed NEPA with their early warning systems so that we're able to track what is happening. So it is standard practice for the NWC to suspend disconnections during a period of national turbulence as this would be. I also want to remind folks to pay keen attention to NWC's updates as it relates to water quality, as post-storms you will have challenges from time to time. So follow the Ministry of Health's boil water notices and certainly follow NWC's notices if there's turbidity or siltation that is over and above usual levels.
Ministry of Energy, Transport and Telecommunications has been working closely with our utility providers, transport entities and telecommunication providers to ensure a coordinated national state of readiness. We have activated all refinery emergency systems and confirmed sufficient fuel supplies, over 2 weeks worth of refined products and 10 days of LPG following the storm. Jamaica Aircraft Refueling Services, JARS, is fully stocked with jet fuel and aviation gasoline to ensure continuous aircraft refueling. Flow Jamaica has fully activated its crisis management system with support from local and regional teams. Power resilience has been strengthened with over 61% of mobile sites now having backed up power and 143 new generators installed island-wide. Company's Emergency Operations Center is active and the public can reach the center for emergencies at 876-929-9834. I'll repeat that, 876-929-9834 and 876-929-9837. That's 876-929-9837. Digicel has formed a dedicated disaster response core team to ensure continuous operations during the storm. JUTC will maintain regular bus operations as long as conditions are safe to do so. Service updates will be shared via social media and public channels. 30 buses are designated for emergency deployment across depots in Portmore, Spanish Town, Rockfort, and Montego Bay. At Sangster International Airport, MBJ Airports Limited has implemented pre-hurricane measures, including drainage and tree clearing, testing of generators with a 36-hour fuel reserve, and positioning of emergency supplies. At Norman Manley International Airport, PACAL has directed stakeholders to secure assets and complete drain cleaning, structural checks, and power system tests. JPS has reported to me that they have fully activated the command centers under the new incident command system and placed overseas line workers on standby. To boost resilience, critical control and telecom sites now have 48-hour backup power and new Starlink systems for communication continuity. The company has expanded its fleet with over 115 specialized vehicles to enhance post-storm response.
Have you seen any of these signs and are ready to buy land or property? Want to know who is the legal owner? Purchase a copy of the title using eLand Jamaica. With eLand Jamaica, you can do a title search and verify the owner of the property, ensuring they have the legal right to sell it. For more information, contact the National Land Agency at www.nla.gov.jm. via telephone at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. Email asknla@nla.gov.jm or message us on WhatsApp at 876-418-5089. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal to serve you better.
There's a saying that goes, willful waste, woeful wants. It's a message from our ancestors that speaks to not wasting food. As many persons rushed to the supermarkets yesterday in anticipation of the storm, I know waste was not on your minds. Was the content of those foods, though, on your mind? Now and after the storm, as you give your body the fuel it needs to survive, remember the ingredients matter. Here's a very important conversation about ensuring you know what's in your food and why.
Part of maintaining good health is knowing our nutritional requirements and what is in the foods we consume. When we know, we are able to make better choices about what we eat and empowered to avoid non-communicable diseases (NCDs) such as diabetes, hypertension, cancers, and cardiovascular diseases like stroke and heart disease. In recognition of this, the government encourages consumers to look carefully on the ingredients and nutrition facts labels on foods.
NCDs is a national crisis, and what and how we eat is a contributory factor to developing or worsening. Our message, healthy eating, active living, read it before you eat it, places emphasis on educating and empowering people about the choices made for food consumption. In keeping with our vision for a healthy Jamaica, our goal is to equip Jamaicans to read food labels in order to make healthier food choices.
The fact that more than 70% of deaths in Jamaica are linked to NCD conditions, which are increasing, is enough reason for all of us to eat healthy foods, exercise regularly, and get adequate rest. Like sweet music to the soul, the healthy living message must resonate, and the Ministry of Health is chiming through the airwaves with its public awareness campaign.
Nutrition facts, it dey inna the table on the side of the back. Take note of the sodium, the sugars and the fats. 5% or less in upon the right track. You fi zoom in on the nutrition facts. It dey inna the table on the side of the back. Vitamins, minerals and vitamin 2, 20% and more that good for you. You fi zoom in, check the nutrition facts. You fi zoom in, check the nutrition facts. You fi zoom in, check the nutrition facts. Less sugar, less salt intake and less fat.
It is our collective responsibility to take stock of the health impact of excesses in sugars, salts, and fats, and take steps to reduce consumption.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness, through the Nutrition Facts Panel media campaign, is fast tracking its response to the scourge of non-communicable diseases (NCD) by getting more Jamaicans to zoom in on what's in their food. The campaign is a collaborative effort of the Ministry of Health, the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, National Health Fund, and the Jamaica Association of Professionals in Nutrition and Dietetics.
I think this is a great start, and it supports the other things that we're doing, like school nutrition policy, the physical activity program, the elimination of trans fats, and so on. We have to see it all related and linked and make the push to get it working.
Preliminary findings of a recent baseline evaluation survey for Nutrition Facts Panel Education campaign show that while 70% of Jamaicans have a general awareness of Nutrition Facts Panel and 69% express a positive attitude towards them, only 30% are able to accurately interpret and apply the information on them. Ingredients on food labels are listed from the greatest to the least amount of nutrients. Pay attention to things like fats, sodium, and sugar, of which you are to consume a percentage daily value of 5% or less. Keep these in mind as well. The general daily limit of added sugars is 6 teaspoons or 24 grams for women and children, while for men it's 9 teaspoons or 36 grams. Your fat intake should be 6 teaspoons or 30 grams, including 13 grams for saturated fat. The general daily limit for sodium is less than 1 teaspoon or 20 grams. It's also recommended that we reduce consumption of foods that have a percentage daily value greater than 20%. Choose foods that are high in dietary fiber, minerals such as iron, calcium, magnesium, and potassium, and vitamins. Go for products with percentage daily values greater than 20% for these nutrients.
It is important that Jamaicans learn to read and interpret the Nutrition Facts Panel with its information on serving sizes, calories, nutrients, and percent daily value for the individual intake. This will empower people to choose foods that allow them to maintain energy and the appropriate nutrient requirements, particularly sugars, salts, and fats.
So, next time you go shopping, remember to read it before you eat it. And don't just read it, do so and make the best nutrition choice for your good health.
You know the adage, water is life? Rightly stated, as it supports all living beings. But with the passing of a hurricane, supply may be compromised and properly stored water could just become our lifeline. Step 1. It is best to use food-grade containers to store water. This means that the material used is fit for human consumption and won't have toxic substances entering your water. Step 2. Be sure to wash and rinse the container thoroughly in preparation for water storage. Step 3. After filling the container, be sure to seal it tightly. If it has a screw-on cap, ensure it's tightly closed. This will prevent contamination. Step 4. Also, to prevent contamination, store water in a cool, dark place. This is to minimize exposure to temperature fluctuations, which can degrade the quality of the water and the container. Step 5. Replace stored water frequently to ensure freshness. You may use older water for non-drinking purposes. Step 6. Additionally, you may want to label the containers with the date of storage. This will help you keep track of how long the water has been stored. Step 7. Drinking water containing bacteria and viruses can lead to serious health issues and diseases such as diarrhea, cholera, or dysentery. If you're in doubt as to the state of your drinking water, you may want to apply water purification methods such as boiling to get rid of any bacteria. Step 8. Finally, going back to point number 1, do not store water in containers that have been used for chemicals or substances that can leach into the water and your system. Ensure that your stored water remains safe and drinkable. Protect your water, and it will protect you.
That's all the time we have for today's show. Thank you so much for spending some of your precious time with us. On behalf of the entire team here at the GIS, please keep safe. Remember that this show, others, and information on many important topics can be found on our website at gis.gov.jm. Until next time, bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.